The deceptive classification. Commander Vexor's six-fingered hand hovered over the holographic display as it cycled through potential conquest targets. His crystalline exoskeleton caught the light from the projection, casting prismatic patterns across the command center of the Skrykon warship Inevitable Dominance. Computer, analyze the next system, Vexor ordered, his voice resonating through his speech membranes with the distinctive harmonic quality of high-ranking Skrykon military officers. The display shifted to a small yellow star with 8 planets orbiting it. The third planet from the star illuminated in blue as the computer's artificial voice responded. System designation: Sol. Primary interest: third planet, locally known as Earth. Inhabited by dominant species, humans. Galactic threat assessment: Level 2. Resource value: Level 8. Vexor's membrane fluttered with interest. A Level 2 threat rating combined with a Level 8 resource value was exactly what the Empire needed: minimal resistance with maximum gain. The Krill Empire had conquered 17 star systems in the last cycle, but resources were stretched thin. An easy victory would please the Imperial Council. Detailed analysis of Earth's defenses, Vexor commanded. The computer displayed a series of primitive satellites, rudimentary spacecraft limited to their own solar system, and basic projectile weaponry. Current technological development: pre-FTL civilization. Nuclear capability present but limited. No planetary shield. No gravitational weaponry. No antimatter technology. Excellent, Vexor said, turning to his second-in-command, Strategic Officer Krill. Assemble an assessment team. If this information is accurate, we may have found our next acquisition. Krill's exoskeleton shifted colors slightly, indicating cautious optimism. Yes, Commander. But the archives on this region are notably sparse. The last update was nearly 50 cycles ago. All the better, Vexor replied. They've had insufficient time to develop meaningful defenses. Proceed with preliminary assessment. I want a full report within 3 rotations. 3 rotations later, the assessment team gathered in the strategy chamber. The holographic display now showed a detailed rendering of Earth, rotating slowly to reveal continents, oceans, and the scattered lights of human civilization visible on the night side. Assessment Director Lizer began the presentation. Commander, our initial analysis confirms the archival data. The humans possess limited space capability, with a primitive orbital station and rudimentary satellites. Their most advanced weapons are nuclear missiles with chemical propellants. Their global communication network is easily accessible and uses simplistic encryption. Their military forces, Vexor inquired, divided among geographical and political boundaries. No unified planetary defense system. Their aircraft are subsonic or low supersonic, using combustion engines. Their naval vessels remain on the surface of their oceans, nothing that poses a threat to our technology. Vexor studied the display thoughtfully. It seems almost too perfect. A resource-rich world with minimal defensive capability. He turned to their archival specialist. Terex, did you find anything unusual in the historical records? Terex, a slender Skrykon with specialized sensory appendages for data analysis, stepped forward hesitantly. Commander, there is something curious. When I accessed the deep archives, I found unusual tags attached to reports about Earth. The holographic display shifted to show ancient text in the unified galactic script. Several passages were highlighted with warning symbols. These records date back over 300 cycles, Terex explained. They contain warnings about Earth, but most of the specific information has been redacted or corrupted. The most recent entry comes from the Veldaran Confederacy, approximately 50 cycles ago. What do the warnings say? Vexor demanded. They're frustratingly vague, Commander. The most common phrase translates roughly as, approach with extreme caution. Classification is advisory, not assessment. The command center fell silent as the implications settled over the gathering. Krill was the first to speak. Could the threat classification be deliberately misleading? Impossible. Assessment Director Lizar interjected. The classification system is standardized across all Galactic Archives. A Level 2 threat represents a pre-FTL civilization with limited offensive capabilities. Vexor studied the warning symbols thoughtfully. Deploy a trio of stealth probes. Full spectrum analysis. I want to verify these findings personally before we commit resources. Within a planetary rotation, the stealth probes, each no larger than a Skrikon's hand and equipped with the most advanced cloaking technology in the Empire, had reached Earth orbit. Their quantum-encrypted transmissions fed directly to the command center of the inevitable dominance. Probes functioning normally, reported the sensor officer. Atmospheric composition confirms archival data. Technology readings consistent with preliminary assessment. No detection of our probes by Earth systems. Vexor nodded, satisfied. Begin detailed scans of their military installations and energy production facilities. The data flowed in, confirming everything they had expected. Combustion engines, primitive nuclear power plants, basic computing networks. Earth was indeed a Level 2 threat, until the probes reached the northern hemisphere of the planet. Commander, the sensor officer called out, voice raised in alarm. Probe 1 has gone offline. Malfunction, Vexor demanded. Negative. Final telemetry shows a directed energy surge from the surface. Signature unknown. Before Vexor could respond, the officer continued. Probe 2 is experiencing transmission interference. It's gone, sir. Probe 3 is. It's changing course. That's impossible, Lizard declared. The probes don't have manual navigation capabilities. Magnify the region, Vexor ordered. The display zoomed in on a seemingly ordinary facility in a remote area surrounded by mountains. Nothing about it suggested advanced technology. Yet as they watched, Probe 3 accelerated toward the facility before its transmission abruptly terminated. The command center erupted in confused discussion until Vexor raised a hand for silence. Terex, access all available information on previous expeditions to the Sol system. Override any security restrictions. Use my command authorization. Terex worked at the archive terminal, crystalline fingers moving with practiced precision. Commander, I found something. A partial record from a Velderan expedition. It appears to be the final transmission from their scout ship before contact was lost. The display showed a visibly damaged Velderan officer, purple ichor leaking from a wound on its thorax. The audio was distorted, but the translation software rendered the words clearly enough. Humans are not what they appear. They adapt. They learn too quickly. Our technology. They've already. Weapons turned against us. The classification is not a measure of threat. It's a quarantine designation. Stay away from Earth. I repeat, stay away. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the command center in silence. Quarantine designation. Krill finally asked. That makes no sense. Quarantine designations start at level 9. Terex continued scanning the archives. Unless, Commander, I believe I understand. The classification system was manipulated. Earth wasn't given a level 2 threat rating because they're harmless. It was deliberately classified that way to discourage contact. Why would anyone do that? Lizard demanded. Vexor's expression darkened. To prevent exactly what we're planning. Terex, are there any records of successful invasions of Earth? None, Commander. I found references to at least 7 attempted invasions over the past 300 cycles. None were successful. Most expeditionary forces were never heard from again. Vexor studied the slowly rotating image of Earth, his earlier confidence replaced by growing uncertainty. A primitive species that can defeat multiple advanced civilizations. How is that possible? The warning mentioned adaptation, Krill noted. Perhaps they possess some unique characteristic we don't understand. We need more information, Vexor decided. Prepare our infiltration specialist. We need someone on the ground, someone who can observe without being detected. As the officers dispersed to carry out his orders, Vexor remained in the command center, watching the seemingly innocuous blue planet. The classification system had never failed before, but something about Earth defied standard analysis. He would proceed cautiously. The resources were tempting, but the Krill Empire had not survived for thousands of cycles by rushing blindly into unknown dangers. Little did he know that his infiltration specialist would soon discover why Earth's deceptive classification was the galaxy's most important warning. The adaptive species, infiltration specialist Zane, had undergone extensive genetic modification to appear human. Her crystalline Krill features were suppressed beneath artificially grown human skin, her 6 fingers reduced to 5, and her height adjusted to match human norms. Advanced implants allowed her to process Earth's atmosphere and gravity without discomfort. After 3 Earth months in a mid-sized city called Denver, Zane transmitted her latest encrypted report to the inevitable dominance. Commander Vexar, my integration proceeds according to established protocols. I have secured employment as a maintenance technician at a research facility, allowing access to their technological development without raising suspicion. My preliminary assessment confirms much of our archival data. Humans remain largely confined to their planet, with limited space exploration capabilities. In the command center, Vexar and his officers reviewed Zane's findings with growing confusion. The visual data showed primitive technology by Krill standards, internal combustion vehicles, basic computing devices, inefficient energy production. Nothing that explained how they had apparently defeated multiple invasion attempts. Continue observation, Vexar instructed. Focus on military installations and research facilities. 2 weeks later, Zane's transmission carried a distinctly different tone. Commander, I have observed something unusual. The humans are conducting experiments with materials recovered from what they call a crash site. The components appear to be of Velderan origin. The attached visual data showed humans in a laboratory examining fragments of technology with the distinctive purple-black alloy used in Velderan spacecraft. What alarmed Vexar was not that they had recovered the technology, but how they were interacting with it. They're not just studying it, Krill observed. They're improving it. The footage showed human scientists connecting their own crude technology to the alien components, creating hybrid systems that impossibly appeared to function. In one sequence, a human engineer casually rearranged components in a way that would never have occurred to a Velderan designer. This defies conventional development patterns, Strategic Officer Krill noted. Species typically advance along predictable technological paths. This is chaotic innovation. Zane's next transmission came only 3 days later, urgency evident in her communication. Commander, I've gained access to a secured facility beneath the primary research center. They have a functional Velderan scout ship, not just fragments, an entire vessel. And they've made it operational using their own technology to replace damaged components. The hybridization shouldn't work, but somehow it does. The command center fell silent as the implications settled over them. How long? Vexar finally asked. How long have they had this technology? According to their records, the crash occurred 47 Earth years ago, Zane reported. Based on the date markers, this would align with the final recorded Velderan expedition. Terex, who had been scouring the archives since the probe incident, interrupted. Commander, I've recovered a damaged file from the deep archives. It appears to be a xenanthropological study of humans conducted over 200 cycles ago. A holographic display shifted to show the recovered document, much of it corrupted, but enough remained to send a chill through Vexar's exoskeleton. Unlike most sentient species, humans evolved not as specialized organisms, but as adaptable generalists. Their planet's rapidly changing environments and diverse predatory threats created a species that prioritizes innovation over optimization. Where most species develop technological solutions through gradual refinement, humans employ what can only be described as creative leaps, connecting seemingly unrelated concepts to create entirely new approaches. The document continued. Most concerning is their response to existential threats. When faced with superior force, humans do not surrender as logical beings should. Instead, their innovation rate increases exponentially. They will sacrifice optimization and efficiency for novel approaches that their opponents cannot predict. The Veldorans didn't stand a chance, Krill realized. Their entire technology was based on perfect optimization and predictable refinement patterns. Just like ours, Vexor said quietly. Zane's final transmission arrived as the Skrikan conquest fleet was assembling at the edge of the Sol system. Commander, my position has been compromised. The humans have detected anomalies in my behavior patterns. Their observation skills exceed our models. But there's something else you must know. They're aware of your presence in their system. The transmission included visual data of a hidden facility beneath a mountain. Inside was a massive hangar containing dozens of spacecraft. Hybrids of human design merged with recovered technology from multiple alien species. The propulsion systems showed Veldoran influence, the weapon mounts resembled Skrikan designs, and the navigation systems incorporated elements from at least 3 other recognizable civilizations. They'd been preparing, Vexor realized. Every failed invasion gave them more technology to adapt and incorporate. As if confirming his assessment, the sensor officer suddenly called out, "Commander, multiple objects launching from Earth's surface. Trajectory indicates they're heading toward our position." "Impossible," Lizar protested. "They shouldn't be able to detect our fleet at this distance." The tactical display showed 27 objects accelerating from Earth, their propulsion signatures unlike anything in the Skrikan database, a hybrid of technologies from across the galaxy, improved upon in ways that defied conventional engineering. "How fast are they moving?" Vexor demanded. "Accelerating past light speed," the sensor officer reported incredulously. "They've developed functional FTL capabilities." Before Vexor could issue orders, the communication officer interrupted. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission from the lead Earth vessel. They're broadcasting on all frequencies in perfect Skrikan language patterns." The holographic display shifted to show a human female in what appeared to be a military uniform. Behind her stood officers of various Earth ethnicities, all watching the camera with calm confidence. "Skrikan vessel, this is Admiral Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We've been aware of your surveillance for some time. Your infiltration specialist has been provided with carefully selected information. We harbor no hostile intent toward your civilization, but we are fully prepared to defend our planet." Vexor stepped forward, his military training taking over despite his shock. "This is Commander Vexor of the Krill Empire. Your planet is classified as a Level 2 threat. Your technology should not be capable of what we're witnessing." Admiral Chen smiled slightly. The classification was deliberately designed to be deceptive, a warning to those who understand its true meaning, and a trap for those who do not. Every species that has discovered Earth and seen our low threat rating has made the same mistake you almost made. "Why maintain the deception?" Vexor asked. "If you possess such technology, why not declare yourselves properly?" "Because we prefer peace to conquest," Chen replied simply. "Those who come seeking alliance rather than invasion find humanity quite accommodating. Those who come with weapons discover why the survivors of previous attempts left those warnings." The tactical display updated, showing hundreds more Earth vessels emerging from concealed positions throughout their solar system. The Skrikan fleet, while impressive, was clearly outmatched. "We're transmitting technical specifications of our defensive capabilities to your vessel," Chen continued. "Review them carefully. Then we invite a diplomatic delegation to Earth to discuss mutual cooperation. You'll find we make better allies than enemies." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. The incoming data stream showed weaponry and defensive systems that incorporated the best elements of technologies from across the galaxy, all enhanced in ways that even Skrikan engineers couldn't fully comprehend. Vexor turned to his officers, seeing the same realization on all their faces. Earth wasn't a Level 2 threat because humans were primitive. It was Level 2 because the true rating would have revealed too much. Would have told the story of a species so adaptable that giving them access to any advanced technology was like handing them the keys to all technology. Send our response, Vexer finally ordered. Accept their invitation for diplomatic talks. As the message was transmitted, Turix approached with one final archival discovery. Commander, I found the original uncorrupted classification entry. The full designation reads, Sol 3/Earth. Classified Level 2. TOV in Ent DIRECTIV. Warning. Rapid Adaptation Species. Technological Integration. Extreme. Innovation Factor. Unprecedented. Not A3AT ASCCSSM Int. Approach Protocol. Diplomatic Contact Only. Vexer understood at last. Earth's deceptive classification wasn't a measurement. It was the galaxy's most important warning. Those who heeded it found potential allies. Those who didn't rarely returned to tell the tale. The Krill Empire had nearly made a devastating mistake. Instead, they might have found their most valuable allies yet, if they could adapt to the idea that sometimes the most dangerous species in the galaxy were those that didn't appear dangerous at all.